to Run Level 0. This is going to be my first Star Trek Online video for the channel. And I thought, what better way to start than with a character creation kind of tutorial guide. If you want to be a free-to-play player on Star Trek Online, one of the first places I suggest you start when you're grinding for your dilithium to get premium currency, I would strongly urge you to spend your first Zen on character slots, because this is going to allow you to farm additional dilithium for your account, as each one of these characters, on a free-to-play account at least, is limited to refining 8,000 dilithium a day. And dilithium is going to be your key to getting more Zen, more premium currency, so you can increase the size of your character farm. You can begin to purchase premium ships. I'm not going to lie, I'll let you know right up front, if you want to stay a strictly free-to-play character, it is possible, but it is one heck of a grind. So my suggestion would be, if you want to stay free-to-play, like I said, start with character slots. Unlock as many character slots as you possibly can handle in your whatever amount of time you want to allot for gameplay, daily, weekly, however dedicated you want to be to it. So I got to thinking, I want to have one character for each of the 3 career fields for each of the factions. And I do not have, I only have one science tune right now on the account, and she is Federation, obviously. Federation has the strongest science presence in the game. Well, they have the strongest presence, period, in the game. That's the money maker for Cryptic with Star Trek Online. With, I would say, probably the Romulans being in second place. The Romulan warbirds tend to be pretty strong in science overall. But the KDF, the Klingon Defense Force, is really lacking in science. And I don't see too many science KDF tunes out there. So I believe I'm going to start there. Today we're going to create a new character for my account, one more for the farm, and I will probably do a playthrough on this new character, at least to showcase the Klingon story arc. So you do have 4 factions to choose from. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into new character. And the first thing you're going to be able to see on the left are your factions available. You have TOS, which is the original series Starfleet. Now, the original series, what you have to understand is that for the 4 factions, and in June there will be a 5th faction as they introduce Victory is Life, and we're being told that that's going to be the Jem'Hadar. I'm hoping that it will be more Dominion based and perhaps open up the Vorta and the Cardassians as a species, but that's for the future, and we'll do a playthrough for that as well. But each of these factions, after about level 10-ish, the storylines converge into a main sweeping storyline for the galaxy, and it is well worth the play. But each of these factions is going to have around 10 episodes, give or take a few, that are going to be faction specific, that you're going to have to start and play through. For example, the original series Starfleet, these guys will have some 23rd century. And that's why the image kind of looks that way. If I switch over to Starfleet, you can see that the graphics are different, that it looks better. This one, original series Starfleet, kind of has a old retro 1960s, 1970s television look to it, kind of a washed out color. And that's on purpose. They want you to be immersed in that playstyle. So that's where these guys will start, is in that original series Star Trek. And you'll play through, and eventually you'll join the standard Starfleet, which is the main storyline. But you also have the Romulan story arc that will follow. If you've ever watched the reboot movies, the original, well, not the original, first J.J. Abrams reboot of Star Trek, where the Hobus star had exploded and Romulus was destroyed, that actually happens that particular event actually happened in Star Trek Online. And this story arc picks up not too long after that. So Romulus and Remus have been destroyed. The Romulan Empire is in tatters. And this Romulan story arc is actually Romulan Republic. So you actually go through the foundation of the Romulan Republic and finding a new homeworld. But at level 10, I believe it is, you have to choose whether you want to align yourself with Starfleet or the Klingons. See, when Star Trek Online first began, it only had the two factions. It only had Starfleet and Klingon. So it's hard-coded in the system to only have two real factions. So that's why TOS Starfleet becomes part of regular Starfleet. That's why Romulans have to choose to align themselves with Starfleet or Klingon. They actually become part of that faction. And I'd imagine that the Jem'Hadar, when they come out, they too are going to probably either default to one or the other or have to choose. I hope they give you a choice. And then the Klingons, of course, that is the Klingon Empire, the samurai, Viking, honor-bound warriors. In the current gameplay, there is a coalition, so all factions are actually allied. You can still do player versus player against each other, but there is no real war going on in the current story arc. So each one of these has specific species that you will be able to unlock and play, with Starfleet having the choice of the most species that you can unlock. Now there are premium species or races that you can unlock, such as for Starfleet would be the Caitians, the Join Trill, and actually Klingons. For Romulans, you can unlock the Remans, and Klingons, you can unlock the Pharisians, and again, the Join Trill can play over here as well. You can choose for most races, male or female. There are some exceptions that will only allow you to play male. And these different species will give you some very, very minor bonuses. Not really enough to affect gameplay, but you know they're enough to make the species distinct. And you can grind Zen to unlock those. They're not too expensive. And then within each faction, you have 3 career fields to choose from: engineering, science, and tactical. Now, Star Trek Online is a bit different from your standard MMO role-playing game in that you do have the trifecta of the tank, the damage, and the healer, but really any toon can play any play style you want. Any toon can tank, any toon can heal, any toon can do damage. The only thing that your career field really determines is what set of unique captain abilities you have. The powers on your ship are determined by the ship type itself, the bridge crew that you put on the ship, and depending on the ship, you know, they do have classes of ships that are more engineering, science, and tactical focused, but any captain can successfully pilot any ship. And there are those people that'll say, no, you should stick, science in a science ship, tactical in a tactical ship. But, it's in Star Trek Online, they've given you the versatility that you can be successful with any combination. The only difference between these, like I said, is what specific captain abilities that you're going to have. The engineering career field is going to give you captain abilities that's focused more toward your ship's power levels, which directly influence the effectiveness of your ship's abilities, your bridge officer's abilities. And they tend to focus more toward healing and tanking. The science career field, you have a great science fleet that allows you to call in reinforcements, but you also focus more on healing and debuffing or lowering the effectiveness of the enemies. That can really be a great effect if you're doing team plays for science. So Tactical is going to focus on dealing raw damage. Their captain's abilities are going to buff your ability to hurt your enemy really fast. And what I've seen in Klingon faction is you see mostly tactical, and that's true throughout all factions in the game. You're going to see mostly tactical. Second, you're going to see engineers. Science, you're not going to see that often, and especially not in the Klingon Defense Force. So I believe that's what we're going to do today, is we're going to create a science character for Klingon. So this brings us to our species. I have all the species unlocked, and of all the species, the one that probably is most suited to science is the joint trill, because you get, what is it, field researcher, 25% bonus. Let's see, no, hang on, that's not your species specific. You actually get some bonuses here as a species to a couple of your science abilities, but I can't remember exactly which one it is. Anyway, the bonuses that you get are very, very minor. Let's see, Medical Vanguard, nope, nope. These are different traits that you'll have access to throughout the game, but not necessarily specific. And I don't see why they have Pounce and Predatory Instincts in there. I don't know that you necessarily get that. So that might be glitched right now, because this looks like it's listing out all of them. Because I know for a fact that there we go. Okay, so it looks like it's glitching a bit, so what I have to do is toggle the race info to get it to actually update. There we go. Alright. So join trill, that's what I was looking for. On ground you get bonus regeneration, bonus radiation, and toxic damage resist. And in space you get bonus to starship hull repair, shield emitters and training, starship weapons training, warp core potential, particle generator, graviton generator, and subspace decompiler. So these guys really are suited more towards science. But I believe what I want to do is actually create a Gorn. I've always wanted to play a Gorn. And let's see, as a Gorn, we get the ability to bite, does physical damage, and gives toxic damage over time. And on ground, we're going to get a 17.5% bonus to melee damage, with a 15% chance to knock down a target on my melee attacks. Then I'll get resistance to plasma, energy, fire, and physical damage. Yeah, I think that we're going to go for a Gorn. They're not really built for science, but I think it's going to be fun. And that's the number one thing is, this is a game. Above all, have fun. So, yeah, we're going to do a Gorn. So we're going to click, we want a Klingon, Gorn Science Officer. We will click Next. Now we get to choose the appearance of our toon. And what I typically do is I'll zoom out so we can see what this person looks like. This is kind of like just the default template. I'll switch them into a static stance so they're not moving around too much. And well, we'll leave this default suit on him for right now. So you can choose your, well, let's do this. Let's go back to normal stance. You can choose your stance. You hover over it, you can see get a preview of what it's going to look like. So you got standard, a brawler, be tough and imposing, creature, that's kind of creepy, gruff, which are just kind of like slunched over, hanging out there, relaxed, kind of got the Will Riker swagger stance going on, stern, which I always believe would probably be better for a Vulcan. Got some more swagger. Again, another Will Riker stance. Thoughtful. And twitchy. Just kind of looking around. It's actually kind of reptilian looking, but I believe for this guy, I want him to be a brawler. He's very confident. This guy's very tough. So now we'll switch him to a static stance. So how tall do you want them to be? Now this species can get big, and I want to maximize his presence. So we're going to make him 8 foot 7 inches. Yeah. All right. So let's go in and check out his head. Now for head, when you're creating these tunes, over here you'll see you'll have some presets that you can go through. Kind of like his underbite there. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll use these as kind of starting points. I kind of like that underbite on there. Alright, since we're focusing on the head, let's come zoom in on his head. Yeah, I like the underbite that it shows off the teeth there a bit. So we'll use this as a starting point. Let's see how this happens. Now you don't have much by way of customization on a Gorn. Some of them will be loads and loads and loads of customization options. And I should have mentioned it before, most factions, with the exception of the original series, you have the option to play a alien. And the alien will give you the most customization options in the tailor altogether. And you also get a bonus trait slot. So most people say that the alien is the best, and I can kind of see that. You know, it's the most versatile because you can really do anything you want to with an alien. But like I said, for us, we're going to stick with Gorn on this one. So let's put him back on Brawler, maximize his height, and we're starting here with this one. Okay. So for our eyes, we're going to do a slit pupil, I think. Eye attach. This thing here is the Spec Op shield for the Gorn. It actually protects their eyes against light, apparently. So we're going to go none. So I want to see his eyes. What color do we? I want his eyes to kind of stand out. Gorn with blue eyes? Nah. I really want him to pop. That looks good. Eye attach. I don't want anything on his eyes. Head attach organic. Oh, we can do the head spikes. Let's see. Yeah, I think so. That looks good. And any decisions you make here, you can actually change later in the tailor shop. So let's see, his skin tone. You don't have much to choose from for skin tone. Kind of red, brown, blue, gray, light green, yellow looking. I do like that deep emerald green color. I think we'll stick with that for now. Come back in on the eyes. Let's see if I can. Oh, there are some more customization options on the eyes, but not by much. Said I really want the eyes to pop, so I think we'll go with that. Hair? Yeah, he doesn't have hair. Yeah, we'll stick with that. Alright. So now we can get into customizing some of the details on the face, on the body. Come back. Overall head size. If you watch his head size, you just adjust the sliders here. And if you want to, you can reset or you can randomize all the values of the basic head scaling options, which I really don't want to randomize anything. His head's a bit too big for his body there. We'll scale it back a bit. Overall head width, I'm pretty happy with. Head depth. I want to elongate that quite a bit. The height, you can make it a really narrow head. Keep it kind of narrow. Alright. Cranium slope. Ooh, here we go. That's really jutting those spikes out. I like that. Forehead slope. Oh yeah, hello. I like that. What about his cheekbones? It's not really doing a whole lot. Cheek size. Okay, so that's the frill on the side of your cheek. How do I like that? I think we'll give him a little bit of a frill there. Not much. Cheek position. Slope them up or down or straight out. I think I want more straight out like that. Alright, so the eyes width. Not really doing a whole lot. Eyes depth. Not doing a whole lot there. Brow furrow. Not a whole lot. Brow position. Not really doing a whole lot there. Okay. The nose width. Length. Okay, see that's what's giving us our underbite. So let's bring that out just a bit. The width. Scaling it this way. Let's bring it out just a bit more. Nostril size, we'll bring the nostrils back in a bit. Nose protrusion. And our nostril positioning. Kind of slope down a bit. There we go. A couple more mouth corner positions. Not really doing a whole lot. The jaw width. There we go. We can bring that into more of a really wide jaw. I want it quite that wide. Bring it back a bit. Chin width. Keep his chin a bit wider. There we go. And his jaw height. How thick is it? Let's bring that down. Bring that back. There we go. There we go. I like that. And then we move on to the body. Now your body scaling options, you're going to have quite a bit to choose from. So the neck bulk, how thick do you want his neck to be? I want to bring this back a bit. But I want to lengthen his neck. There we go. Just a tad bit back more. How bulky do you want his torso to be? About mid, but I want to lengthen it quite a bit. That's going to increase his height again. Shoulders bulk, kind of bulky. Let's widen his shoulders a little bit. Chest size, keep it proportional. His depth to his chest looks pretty good. Waist size, so how thick is this boy? Rib size, let's make him a little more svelte. Stomach size, is not a fat boy. Alright, and the hips depth is basically how big is his booty. See? So we're going to bring that about average. Arm length, I want to bring that back a little bit. Look a bit too gangly for me. There we go. Arm bulk looks actually pretty good for me. Hand bulk, we're going to bring that back a little bit. Lengthen up his fingers some. I want to lengthen up his legs to max though. Leg bulk, let's bulk up his legs just a little bit. Keep it kind of proportional to the body. Feet height, make them very high. Again, it's going to increase the height of him a little bit more. Alright, so all that looks pretty good to me. Uniform, I actually kind of like his uniform the way it is, except the collar. I don't like the collar. Let's take the collar off of him. There we go. And let's adjust some of the colors down here on the belt buckle. Well, you know what? That's not bad. Maybe it's the pants. Yeah, okay, let's make the pants a little more leather looking. Easy. Yeah, I think I like that. And again, any of this stuff you can change later on in the tailor. Now we go to background. And the main thing you want to do here is pick a name. And I kind of had one already in mind for him. And this is going to be Sleestack. If you get the reference, great. If not, look it up. Alright, so his formal name, first name again is going to be Sleestack. Really don't want too much in there. Instead of Sleestack. That would have been embarrassing. Alright, Sleestack. There we go. Man, y'all didn't even call me out on that. Come on, I thought y'all had my back. Running around the universe with a science officer named Sleestack. That would have really sucked. I would have had to delete this guy pretty quick. Okay, so for ship names, I'll typically, this is just the name of your first ship. I'll typically just find a random name that I can live with. So Imperial Klingon ship, Durpak, that's fine. And the biography is completely optional. If you really get into role playing, you can make up a story. I've seen people that'll actually keep like a service record in the biography. You can actually go in and update and change your biography anytime that you want. Your ship name you can pretty much change anytime you want. But your captain name, if you're not happy with this, you can rename them, but you have to buy a captain rename token for Zen. So you'll have to either grind for it, and I want to say it costs right around 1,000 or just shy of 1,000. It's like 900 Zen or something like that. I may be wrong, but it does cost real Zen. So you'll have to grind your dilithium for it, or if you want, you can spend real money on it. But anyway, so this is going to be the tune that we are going to do our KDF storyline playthrough as a Gorn Science Officer. So when you click engage, it will take you into the first gameplay. I'm going to do that, but we will not cover the first gameplay. We will save that for another day. We're going to wrap this video up here. We will join this guy on the next Star Trek Online episode as we walk through the Klingon storyline tutorial phase. Alright, so thank you for joining me today. Went a little bit longer than I anticipated, but it was fun. And I look forward to talking to you next time. Take care.